Welcome students, welcome to the lecture number 3 of chapter 1, that is getting started with Python. Okay, in the previous lectures we have learned about Python, that what is basically a Python and some features of the Python also. Okay, so now in the today's lecture we are going to start that from that if you want to start with the Python, so from where we will download the software of Python. Okay, so for opening the software of Python, what you have to do, you have to open a website. Okay, so you can see that first you go to your Google Chrome, right? Over there you write this python.org. Okay, you have to write www.python.org. so this is basically the name of the website. When you open this website, then this window appears and you have to go to this option named as downloads. Okay, over here it is given downloads. So when you click on the downloads, you have to use this download for Windows. Over here it is given Python 3.8.1. Okay, so what you have to do to install Python in your system, first you have to open the website www.python.org. and when that website opens, then go to this option that is download. Okay, and under download, when you click on the download, it shows you the various platforms. Okay, so most of the students have Windows operating system with them, so you have to go and use this option downloads for Windows. Okay, by default Windows is selected, so that's why you will select the option the download for Windows, and when you click on this, the Python software get downloaded in your system, and once it is downloaded, then you will run it and install the software in your system. Okay, so by this way you can install the software Python in your system. Okay, once the Python is installed in your system, then what will you do? Suppose let me show you when the Python software is installed in your system, then you will get this option like recently added. Okay, or if you are not getting on recently added, then simply you can go down. Over there it is written Python 3.8. then you have to just click over here, and then you have to select IDLE. Okay, this IDLE. Now what is basically this IDLE means? IDLE means Integrated Development Learning Environment. Okay, so basically what Python organization has done, they have created a learning environment in which all the tools for executing a program or preparing a program are integrated in it. Okay, so that's why we call it as Integrated Development Learning Environment. Okay, integrated means the combination of multiple things. Okay, so integrated development learning environment. So if you want to develop a code, you can develop in the Python in this IDLE option. If you want to run the code, then you can also use this IDLE option. So that's why we call it as integrated development. Okay, so you have to click on this option. So when you click on this option, what will happen? Let me click on it. Then this window of Python opens. Okay, now as we have downloaded the Python software. Okay, so now when I open the software, a window appears in front of me. Okay, so let's move on. First we will discuss about the modes of working in Python. Okay, so it means that when we want to work in Python, so obviously we have some modes. Okay, so we can work on those modes. So what are the various types of modes that are available in Python? The first mode that is available is the interactive mode, and the second mode which is available in the Python is script mode. So we have two modes with us. The first one is the interactive mode and the second one is the script mode. So first of all we will discuss the interactive mode first. Okay, so initially we are going to discuss about the interactive mode. So what is the interactive mode? let me first read out the first statement regarding the interactive mode. Okay, and yes, right. So it is written that in the interactive mode, okay, we can type a Python statement on the prompt directly. So when we open the interactive mode, a Python, when we open basically an interactive mode, then what will happen? A prompt will appear in front of us, and whatever Python statement we want to see the execution of it, we will simply write that Python statement in front of the prompt. Okay. So as you see that when I open the IDLE environment, first this screen appears in front of me. This screen is basically the interactive mode of Python. Okay, and you can see that over here 3 arrows are shown. Okay, so this is basically the prompt, and what is written over here, that in the interactive mode we can type a Python statement on the prompt directly. Okay, so we don't have to write anything else. If suppose if I want to execute a simple calculation, suppose मान लो if I want to multiply 6 by 8, so what I have done, I have simply write the statement after the prompt. Then it is written that we can type a Python statement on the prompt directly. Okay, we have written the statement. Once you have written the statement, then what you have to do, as soon as we press enter, the interpreter, as I told you that Python basically uses interpreter, right? So what work will this interpreter do? This interpreter executes, this interpreter basically executes the statement and display the result. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to test any Python statement. So what you can do, you can simply write that statement directly after this prompt. Okay, you can simply write that statement directly after this prompt, and when your statement is complete, just press enter. So what will happen when you press enter? The Python interpreter execute that statement and show you the result. So let me see that what will happen if I write 6 into 8 and I press enter. So what will happen? The Python interpreter fetch this statement, that is 6 into 8, process it, and that gives the answer, that is 48. Okay. Let me show you one more thing. Suppose there is a statement like print. This print is basically for printing the message. So this is my first class. Okay. So I have written this message. I will explain this print statement later on also, but just I am displaying you the working in the interactive mode. Okay. So what I have done, I have written a Python print statement after this prompt. So what will happen once I completed the statement, then I simply press enter, and what will be this statement is fetched by the interpreter, and after processing that statement, the interpreter shows result on the screen. Okay, so print statement is basically used to print the message. So the Python statement, the Python interpreter will execute this statement and show the message as a result to the user. Okay. Now what will the next point? Working in interactive mode is convenient for testing a single line code for instant execution. Okay, so whenever you want to check any particular line, okay, whenever you want to check any particular line, so you don't have to write the complete program for it. Okay, suppose I tell you one example, that you have written HTML code also. Okay, HTML basically you used for developing the websites. But if suppose you want to create a web page in which you want to show a message that this is my first page. So for that, what you have to do, you have to write an entire HTML body. Within the body tag you will write this is my first page, and then you close the body tag, and also you close the HTML tag. So basically you have to follow the entire format for it, even if you want to print a single statement. Okay. But in Python it is not necessary. If you want to test any single statement of the Python, that what will be the result of that statement, then you don't have to write the complete program for it. No, you can simply write that statement in front of the prompt, and the prompt will, and once the statement is completed, just press enter, and immediately you will get the answer of that statement. So that you can basically quickly and instantly you can check the working of the particular statement, right? So that's why interactive mode is more useful for us. And now after that, it is written that in the interactive mode we cannot save the statement for future use, and we have to retype the statement to run them again. But there is one disadvantage in this interactive mode, that whatever statement you have written over there, that statement is not saved anywhere. Okay, because you have written a single statement and then simply you press enter and you will instantly get the result, but that statement is not saved anywhere. Okay, suppose if I close it and once again I open the Python IDLE mode, then I don't have that statement with us, because if I want to again run that statement, then what I have to do, I have to again type it, okay, that this is my first program. So I have to retype that statement all the time. So that is the main disadvantage, is that whatever statement you have written in the interactive mode, that is not saved anywhere. Okay, so whenever you want to see the result of that statement, you have to always type that statement in case of interactive mode. Okay, so I think it is clear with you that what is basically an interactive mode. Okay, now the second mode which we are discussed earlier is the basically the script mode. Okay, as we have seen that there are two types of modes in Python in which we can work. The first one is the interactive mode that we have already seen. Now the second type of mode is basically the script mode. Now what is basically a script mode? Okay, in the script mode we can write a Python program in a file. So in basically in case of the script mode, we have to create a file and write our code in that file. Okay, what we will do, we will open a new file and then we will write our code in that new file, and then after writing the code we will save that content. So we can write a Python program in a file, save it, and then use the interpreter to execute the program from the file. So actually I have written the entire program in the file, and now I have saved the file. Then what will happen? Then when I execute that file, then what will happen? This file will be taken by the interpreter, and interpreter will execute all the code which is written in that file line by line. Okay. Such program files have .py extension. So if we work in a script mode and we create a file and store our program in that file, then when we save that file, then the extension of that file will be .py. Okay, and is also known as script file, because we are working in the script mode, that's why we can call it as a script file. All right, now the second point is that usually beginners learn Python in interactive mode. Why in interactive mode? Because as I told you that interactive mode is very convenient and easy to test a single line of code. So what you can do, you can simply test each and every line in this interactive mode very easily, right? But for programs having more than few lines, we should always save the code in the file for future. But suppose if we want to run a program in a file, okay, so what will be the benefit of that? When we create a file, we can store that program in that file which contains multiple lines. So whenever your work which you want to do consists of more than one line, then it is better you go with the script mode. Okay. And the last one is that Python scripts are created using any editor. Python has a built-in editor called IDLE, which can be used to create programs. So it is not necessary that we will create Python programs from the IDLE editor. We can create the Python programs in Notepad also, but when the program is complete, then we have to save that program in the Python directory with .py extension. Okay, so we have to remember this thing. But as Python provides us a built-in editor, that is IDLE, so in spite of going to Notepad, you can simply open that editor and write code in that. So by default Python scripts are saved in Python installation folder. Okay, so as you know that we have installed Python, so there is a directory for the Python program, that is Python 37-32 or Python 38-32. Okay, so that is basically the default folder for the Python software, or we can say that it's a Python installation folder. So whatever program we have write, when we want to save that program, these programs automatically get stored in the installation folder also. But if you want, we can save the programs anywhere else also. So let us do some script mode work. So now this is my interactive mode. Okay, so as I told you, now in the script mode, what we have to do, we have to first open a file. Okay, and we have to store program and write our code in that file. So I will open print new file. So when you click new file, this editor will open and you can store your program in that file. Okay, so I will write print. Let me do one thing. You know that we have executed, we have learned a particular statement while running the while learning about the features of Python, right? That if you want to interchange the value of a and b, so we'll write a code a comma b is equal to b comma c, right? And then we will print a comma b. Okay, then we will see that what happened. Okay, first, and after writing the code, we will simply go to file option and then save. Suppose I write save it by A11, right? And you know that this is the Python default, as I told, the default installation folder up here. So this is the Python 3832, it is a default installation folder. So that's why when I want to store the file, save the file of Python, then automatically this location opens, right? And over here I have given the name as A11. Let me do one thing over here. Sorry, why I have done this I will explain you in other videos, okay, in later on. So let me see that A is 9 and B is 5, and we have stored this program also. Now after storing the program, how you can run the program, this is a run option and you can press F5, run module F5, or either you can directly press F5 from your keyboard. So run module and okay. Okay, there is a problem. Oh yeah, there is a problem. Actually, by mistake I have written over C, right? So you can see that if there is a problem in your code, then it automatically display that problem. And what is the problem? Basically, it show me the problem that's name error, and also it is shown me the name error message, that is name C is not defined. Okay. So obviously there is no variable by the name of C, and by mistake I have written C over here. So let me correct this one. So a comma b is equal to b comma a. Now after that I will execute it. So now you can say that, now you can see that 5 and 9. So the value of a is now 5 and the value of b shown is now 9. So you can see that the value of a and b are interchanged. Okay. So in this way we can work in the script mode, right? So basically these are the two different modes in which we can work in Python. So I hope it is clear to you. So what you have to do now, you have to simply download the Python software and just type some and just open the interactive mode, type some statements over there and make some small and go to the interactive, and if you want you go to the script mode and write some small code over there, just like I have written over here. So these are basically the two modes in which you can work in Python. Okay. So the next chapter is basically token, that I will cover in the next lecture. So till now that's all for today. and you have to practice these two modes. Okay, just write the simple statements like 6 plus 5, 4 plus 3, and just you can simply test those statements. So but your work is right now is that you have to make notes of all these, and then you have to install Python software in your program, in your computer, so that we can practice some more questions in the next lecture. So thank you very much and have a nice day.